Hey there, it's Johanna, and personally, I find the holiday season to be exhausting and stressful. Um, I am highly introverted, and I'm quite sensitive to all the sights and sounds, even the ones I enjoy. And this time of year where the gatherings keep coming one after the next, it's honestly not really my thing. Um, and I do want to just acknowledge that looks different for different people. Like, I know that some of you out there, instead, you're feeling a lack of gatherings and people to gather with, or some of you just love this time of year, and for some of you, it's hard in a different way. So I want to honor that. And also, just from my experience, year after year, I would try to make a plan to manage my energy. And it was like, if I could just magically come up with this perfect combination of energizing and restorative things, then I could somehow defeat exhaustion and finally have this energetic, joyful holiday season that I thought I was supposed to have. And it was never enough. Every time, it was not enough. No matter how hard I tried, I was still tired. Which, seems pretty obvious when you say that out loud. Trying harder usually doesn't make us less tired. But I really wanted to figure it out. And then one year, I was, again, kind of making my plan, coming up with my strategy. I was asking all those good questions, like, what self-care practices do I most need to really support myself? How can I adapt them to the limited time and space and potentially privacy of group gatherings? How will I make sure I follow through on them when, in the moment, it feels easier to stay slumped on the couch and eat another cookie? All those questions. And to be clear, I'm not trying to criticize those questions. They do have value, and I do still use them. But I was so focused on trying to, if I could just find the right answers, then it would all be fixed and everything would be okay. I was putting so much pressure on it. And so that year, my coach is kind of listening to me do this again. And eventually she asked me, she said, what if you just accepted it? What if you accepted you would be tired? And I'm pretty sure I went on this long, rambling rant about all the reasons that was completely and utterly and totally unacceptable. But the question did stick with me. And, after sitting with it a while, I started to realize, okay, accepting that I will be tired, that doesn't mean that's how I want things to be. And accepting it doesn't mean that I just give up on doing anything to support myself in that or try and improve my experience or make things different. But I had been fighting so hard against reality. Because, there is, in no other situation would large group all-day interactions multiple days in a row be energizing or satisfying for me. But I was like, okay, but it's Christmas, it's Thanksgiving, it's someone's birthday. I have to figure out how to make it different. I was putting so much pressure to find the answer to make things different than they were. and fighting so hard against reality that I was wearing myself out and getting so stressed. And every time it felt like failure. And so I was just piling on more shame and creating a lot of resentment and just all this effort to try to figure out the answer so I could have the holiday I wanted was actually taking me further and further from what I really wanted. And so, this year, as again, preparing and kind of in the holiday season at this point, I am thinking about and making a plan for, okay, how do I take care of myself? How do I manage my energy? What do I do with the fact that this is kind of exhausting and stressful? And I'm also thinking about, okay, how can I practice letting go of some of those impossible expectations so that there's more space for me to be with and enjoy what is here? I'm curious what you think. I'm wondering, you can leave me a comment. Are there any ways that you try to avoid being impacted by your experiences, or ways you try to force yourself to be different? And what do you want to do with that? So I'll be back with more soon. And in the meantime, remember, you can trust yourself.